The southernmost region is Jutland, Svealand is found in the middle, and Norrland sits atop the north. Sorry if I mispronounce anything like that, because, apparently I mispronounce things all the bloody time, according to the comments section. Number 4. At a hefty 450,295 square kilometres, Sweden is the third largest country in the European Union by area, behind Spain in second place and France, which takes the gold medal. Number 5. Sweden has a total population of roughly 10 million people. Interestingly, around 2.3 million of those people have a foreign background, meaning that almost a quarter of all Swedes have recent ancestry from outside the country. Number 6. Sweden has a pretty low population density of only 22 inhabitants per square kilometre. The highest concentration of people is in the southern half of the country, i.e. most of Jutland and Svealand. Furthermore, roughly 85% of the population of Sweden lives in urban areas. Number 7. The modern Swedish word for Sweden is Sverige, which simply means realm of the Swedes. Pretty simple, unlike IKEA instructions. Ho ho! Zing! Got you there. Oh, it's probably racist for me to mention IKEA, but there we go. Number 8. There is evidence to suggest that people have been living in what is now known as Sweden since as early as 12,000 BC. But Sweden first emerged as an independent state much later on during the early 12th century. In the year 1280, King Magnus Lars issued a statute which established a nobility and granted them numerous rights and privileges, including freedom from taxation. Oh dear, typical posh boy. I shouldn't pay any tax because I've got loads of money. Number 9. A couple of centuries later, the population of Sweden was decimated by the Black Death. Oh, classic Black Death. Which killed 2/3 of the Swedish population. At this point, Scandinavia's culture, finances and languages came under threat from a powerful merchant association called the German Hanseatic League. In response, the kingdoms of Sweden, Norway and Denmark joined together under a single monarch in 1397, creating what was known as the Kalmar Union. The Kalmar Union lasted almost 130 years until Sweden rage quit in 1523, becoming a strong, independent country that don't need no man in a crown. Number 10. In 1630, Sweden decided to get involved in the religious conflict known as the 30 Years' War, which had already been raging for years. The Swedish involvement snatched the Protestant side a victory from the Catholic jaws of defeat, and resulted in a significant decline of Catholicism in Northern Europe. At this point, Sweden had solidified its position as one of the great powers of Europe, which lasted for hundreds of years after. Siffra 11. In the year 1658, oh, remember that, what a great year it was. The sea between Sweden and Denmark froze over so completely that 9,000 Swedish soldiers, and their horses, literally walked across frozen water and besieged Copenhagen. Number 12. Unfortunately for the Swedes, during the 18th and 19th centuries, Sweden began to lose many of their territories outside the Scandinavian peninsula, culminating in the annexation of what is now Finland by Russia in 1809. Oh, poor Finns. Number 13. The last war in which Sweden was directly involved flared up in 1814, when Denmark was forced to cough up Norway, which was forced into a union with Sweden which lasted until 1905, at which point it was peacefully dissolved. The union, not the country. Since 1841, Sweden maintained an official policy of neutrality in foreign affairs, meaning that it's been at peace for over 200 years, even throughout both world wars. Number 14. That being said, although Sweden was officially neutral in both World War I and II, the country did engage in humanitarian efforts. During the Second World War, Sweden took in refugees from German-occupied Europe, including almost all of Denmark's Jews, who Hitler, and I'm going to say it, that dick, had ordered to be arrested and deported to concentration camps. However, Sweden also allowed the Nazis to use their railways to transport arms and troops and traded with Germany throughout World War II, so it's a bit of a mixed bag of should we help the Nazis or not? Number 15. Between the 1850s and the 1930s, roughly 1.5 million Swedish people emigrated to North America. The population of Sweden in that period was never more than 3.5 million, so that's really saying something. Most America-bound Swedes ended up in Minnesota, where the American Swedish Institute is located in the state capital of Minneapolis. Number 16. After the Cold War ended, Sweden joined the European Union on the 1st of January 1995, but also chose not to adopt the euro and also declined NATO membership. Oh, those rebels. Number 17. Sweden is home to over 95,000 lakes larger than 100 square meters. That's over 9.5 million square meters of lake, people. I'm trying to make this sound impressive, but I genuinely have no idea how much lake is a lot of lake. Number 18. The Åland Islands, an archipelago located at the entrance of the Gulf of Bothnia, are officially part of Finland, but are home to a Swedish-speaking minority who have their own government, flag and culture. Number 19. Because of its proximity to the Arctic Circle, Sweden regularly experiences long, dark winters, which can lead to some of its citizens to suffer from seasonal affective disorder. As such, some bus stops in Sweden have been fitted with phototherapy lights to combat the effect of barely seeing the sun for months on end. Number 20. Sweden's northernmost town is Kiruna, and is located well within the Arctic Circle. The town is so far north, in fact, it does this really mental thing where the sun does not set at all certain times of the year, and subsequently doesn't rise at all for most of December. Number 21. Nowadays, Sweden is renowned for its Nordic social welfare system. Swedish citizens enjoy universal healthcare and university education entirely free of charge at points of use. Wow, that's good. I like that a lot. However, this comes at the price of high taxes. And with a tax rate of over 50% of GDP, Swedish people are among the most highly taxed in the world. However, most Swedes seem to be fairly happy with the situation. In fact, the Swedish word for tax is skatt, which doesn't mean anything filthy, it means treasure. Number 23. Since 1901, the Nobel Prizes have been awarded every year in Sweden to honour excellence in various fields, with modern categories including physics, medicine, literature, peace, and YouTube fact videos. I hope to collect my statuette this year. As of last year, almost 585 prizes have been awarded to 923 people and organisations. Number 24. In case you didn't know, the Nobel Prizes are the legacy of Alfred Nobel, who left a massive amount of money in his will to the establishment of the Nobel Prize. Oh, and also he invented dynamite in 1866, so well done, Alfred. I don't know what that coyote from Looney Tunes would do without you. Number 25. Sweden has managed to accrue 7 Nobel Prizes for literature, including the first woman to win the prize, Selma Lagerlöf, who won in 1909. Morbacka, a large mansion in west central Sweden, has a national shrine and memorial to Lagerlöf. Number 26. But it's not just writing that Swedes have done good at. A number of important inventions and innovations are Swedish in origin. The pacemaker, the refrigerator, the ultrasound, the astronomical lens and computer mouse were invented in Sweden or by Swedes living abroad. So without the Swedes, you wouldn't be able to see your baby and paste it all over Facebook. Oh, I'm having a baby. Yeah, we get it, Chan. Number 27. To date, Sweden has won 636.5 Olympic medals in total. The half a medal, which you may be thinking, about, is due to the fact that at the 1900 Olympics in Paris, Sweden competed alongside Denmark in a tug-of-war with France, and Sweden-Mark won the gold. Number 28. Of course, no discussion about Sweden would be complete without mentioning everyone's favourite international sensation, that is IKEA. Did you know that everyone's favourite purveyor of Scandi design also sells roughly 1,836,000 meatballs across the globe every single day? No? Well, you do now. Do with that information as you wish. Eat it up like a meatball. Number 29. In 2006, IKEA opened up a store in Haparanda, a municipality in Sweden, in the most northerly county of Norrbotten, making it the northernmost IKEA in the world. Temperatures there regularly drop to minus double digits during the winter, so I think I'll just go to the one in Croydon, thanks very much. Number 30. Speaking of Haparanda, the town is so close to the Finnish town of Tornio that they share the same post office with 2 separate phone lines, one for calls to Sweden and one for calls to Finland. Number 31. Similarly, there's a golf club on the border of Sweden and Finland with half the holes in one country and half in the other. You probably have to bring your passport to go. Oh, security would be awful, wouldn't it? Number 32. The 3-point seatbelt is also a Swedish invention too, and is said to have saved 1 million lives. It was first introduced in 1959 by Volvo, and today are found in billions of vehicles worldwide. Number 33. The world's largest scale model of the solar system can be found in Sweden. The Sun is represented by the Ericsson globe, with the models of various planets, celestial bodies and solar features dotted around the country at a maximum distance of 950 kilometers across. And yet, the model has a scale roughly 1 to 20 million. Wow. Space really is huge. We could have a video about space. What? We already do? What a coincidence. Watching after this one. Number 34. Possibly Sweden's most celebrated scientist is Carl Linnaeus, who was born in the countryside of Småland in southern Sweden in 1707. Linnaeus is best known for creating the formal system of naming organisms known to bionormal classification, which enables all plants and animals to be consistently named and classified, which, is helpful in science. Linnaeus himself created the term Homo sapiens, so, in a way, he named all of us. He also called you a homo, so you gonna take that, are you? Oh, actually, that's probably... Number 35. Sweden's Uppsala University has in its possession a famous 4th century Bible, known as the Silver Bible, which is considered by many to be one of the world's most valuable books. The Silver Bible is an incomplete version of the New Testament written in ancient Gothic language using silver and gold ink. It's pretty much the most blinged and pimped out Bible you'll ever come across. Blood? Oh, why did I say blood at the end? I ruined it. Number 36. One of history's most popular video games, world-building simulator Minecraft, was created by Swedish programmer Marcus Notch Persson as a one-man passion project. First released in 2011, the game has since sold more than 144 million copies, making it the second best-selling game of all time after Tetris. Tack Sweden. Number 37. The Swedes are also behind the uber-popular freemium mobile game Candy Crush. Swedish games development company King has had their game downloaded almost 500 million times, and in 2013, the game generated a staggering $1.5 billion in sales. That's 11.8 billion Swedish krona. Number 38. You can also thank Sweden for its massive contribution to the world of music in the form of one band, Bass Hunter. Oh, nope, sorry, I mean ABBA. The group has sold over 375 million records worldwide, which, depending on who you ask, makes them the third or fourth best-selling music act in history. What an interesting fact that is. Does your mother know? Oh, okay. Number 39. ABBA are remembered even today for not only their extensive catalogue of bangers, but also the ridiculous outfits they wore during their spectacular live performances. The members of ABBA have since revealed they wore these wacky costumes primarily to avoid Sweden's taxes, which allowed deductions for clothing if it wasn't meant for everyday use. That's the name of the game. It doesn't matter. Number 40. The capital of Sweden is Stockholm, a city built on 12 islands and over 50 bridges, leading it to being given the nickname the Venice of the North. To be fair, basically anywhere with enough water gets that nickname. Cue all the people from Birmingham saying, oh, we have more canals than Venice. No one cares, Birmingham. Alright? Number 41. Stockholm is also home to Skansen, the world's first open-air museum, opened all the way back in 1891. Skansen depicts examples of Swedish rural life from various time periods between the 16th century and 20th century, and attracts more than 1.3 million visitors each year. Meningen med livet. In an attempt to make obeying the speed limit fun, which is possibly the most boring string of words I could have ever uttered, Stockholm tested a speed camera lottery which automatically entered speed limit-abiding drivers into a prize pool funded by the fines paid by those caught speeding. Karma's gonna get ya. Number 43. One interesting Stockholm phenomenon is the tradition of the Flogsta Scream, in which the denizens of Flogsta, a residential area in Stockholm, stick their heads out of windows at 10 PM every Tuesday and scream their little Swedish lungs out for several minutes. This is done to relieve the stress caused by university exams, although that sounds like it causes more stress than it solves. Number 44. Stockholm is renowned for its colourful art-covered metro stations. More than 90 of the 100 stations have been covered in mosaics, paintings, sculptures and carvings, meaning it's been dubbed the world's longest art gallery. Number 45. Greta Garbo, you know, the legendary Hollywood actress and Swede, which is why we mentioned her, had her first job as a sales assistant in the hat section of the pub department store at the Hotoket City Square in Stockholm. She later starred in over 30 films and spent most of her life in the US before dying in New York City in 1990, like one classy bee. I hope I die in NYC. Or Norwich, whichever's easiest. Number 46. Stockholm also boasts the largest hemispherical building in the world. Known as the Ericsson Globe, which we mentioned earlier, the building stands proudly at 85 metres high with a diameter of 110 metres. Number 47. Stockholm also has an entire museum dedicated to ABBA, which I've been to actually, which allows visitors to gaze upon all manner of ABBA memorabilia, such as the band's numerous gold records and aforementioned wacky wardrobe pieces. The stated goal of the museum is to let the patrons experience the feeling of being the fifth member of ABBA, which it facilitates by allowing you to get on stage with sophisticated holograms of the band. I nearly did that as well, but my girlfriend told me not to. Number 48. Northern Sweden is home to the indigenous Sami people, whose ancestral homeland, Sapmi, known in English as Lapland, stretches over the top of the Scandinavian peninsula across